All right.
Captain's log. While exploring an uncharted star system in the Deneb sector, we received what we think is a message from a distress beacon on Onias 2. We're en route to investigate.
I advise referring to the star map and setting a course for the Onias system, Captain.
Thank you, Mr. Spock. The Onias star system.
Approaching Onias 2, Captain.
It may be nothing, Captain, but a scan of the planet's atmosphere indicates a high concentration of rare gases trapped in the planet's magnetosphere. Atmospheric disturbances could produce random radio waves.
It wouldn't be the first time, Mr. Spock, but we'll never be able to tell if we don't check it out. After all, to seek out new life and new civilizations is our mission, to boldly go where no man has gone before.
A split infinitive, Captain.
What?
The proper grammatical expression is to go boldly where no man has gone before.
Somehow, I think it loses a little in the translation.
Entering standard orbit.
All those planets look the same.
Fascinating, Captain. Sensors indicate only 2 faint life forms. It is difficult to distinguish, given the discharges in the planet's magnetosphere. It is, however, safe to transport to the planet's surface.
No signal from the planet other than the distress beacon, sir.
Okay, so we're good to beam down.
Captain, our sensors will not be particularly useful to you while you're down there, and communications may be erratic, sir.
We'll be fine, Lieutenant. What reason is there to worry?
I'm afraid, Captain, there are plenty of precedents. We'll be here if you need us.
I have no doubt of that.
I have tracked the signal to its source. It is near the life forms. The rest of the planet is quite desolate. No sign of life or technology. The atmosphere is thin, but breathable. And I detect numerous micrometeorite hits.
There are 3 unformed planets in the system. It's no wonder. There are so many micrometeorites. I'm surprised any Class M planet hasn't been pulverized by now.
It is not inconceivable, but it is certainly unusual.
Let's do it, Spock. You, McCoy, and I. Oh, and tell Bones to see if a genetic specialist's available. If there are only 2 life forms, we might be privileged to see life at its earliest stages.
Oh, we get a blue shirt with us today. Really, the only other missions we had a red shirt that wasn't even our crew member.
Seems to me as if we've landed on a skeleton after the vultures have picked it clean.
A fascinating analogy, Doctor. Captain, the locus of the distress signal is in that building.
I think the doctor is right. Anything good here died a long time ago. It feels creepy to me.
Thank you for that opinion, Mr. Johns. I'll be certain to use creepy in my log entry about this.
Well, I have to hand it to whoever built this place. All this equipment looks brand new and in good repair.
Let's hope the Enterprise looks this good when it's this old.
We should be very careful about how we proceed, Captain. I have a strange feeling that evil is lurking nearby.
Evil, Ensign?
Something that wants to imperil our souls, sir. We must avoid that at all costs.
Imperil our souls. Oh, well. In that case...
This DNA sequencer appears to be nearly 50,000 years old, yet it has not broken down and appears to be fully powered. This DNA sequencer appears to be nearly 50,000 years old, yet it has not broken down and appears to be fully powered. Aside from some dust and dirt and a small chemical deposit on the intake nozzle, this DNA replicator appears to be in the same condition that it was 50,000 years ago. Readings indicate that along with oxidation and dust, there is some organic residue in the crust-like buildup.
I'm just a simple country doctor, not a
It's
magician.
organic.
There's some things I just can't fix. I'm just a simple country doctor.
It's organic, Bones.
This appears to be a patch of rust and dust that has accumulated on the machine's surface.
Why is it so green? If it's rust. Can we get rid of it?
No effect.
Captain, using the phaser at that setting may damage the equipment.
Okay, so what about stun? Ooh.
A unique use of a phaser, but adequate for removing the deposits from the apparatus.
I don't know if that helped anything, but...
There are life form readings just to the east and west of this room.
Greetings, gentle beings, and welcome. I am Azra of the Omegan people. You are the salvation we have long sought. Thank you for answering our summons.
An angel!
Actually, it is the projected image of an angel, Mr. Johns.
Jim, somewhere in that machine behind the portal are single-cell organisms. They have a healthy metabolism and long lifespan, but an extremely low rate of reproduction.
This projection is being cycled at 1,000 frames a second, which suggests the equipment was designed to function in the presence of a race that has a sharper visual acuity than the human or Vulcan races. This casing is constructed from a uranium alloy and contains computer equipment, an image projector controlled from the keyboard, a communications relay, a genetic bank behind that porthole, and a slot with which to take samples from the genetic bank. The computer is quite sophisticated, Captain, with encoded engrams similar to Dr. Daystrom's M5 computer program, which would indicate artificial intelligence.
The enclosure behind this porthole is teeming with life. Billions and billions of creatures. There's something wrong with the piece of its genetic code that controls reproduction. I've never seen such a low reproductive rate in an organism that's this simple.
The narrow width of the keyboard indicates the creatures who designed it were possessed of hands with only 3 fingers and a thumb. The system is operational and producing the projection in front of us. This would appear to be the casing of a larger apparatus. I sense no intelligence from the creatures beyond this glass.
It appears to be the casing for the rest of the machine, Jim.
Okay, you got that, but...
It appears to be the casing for the rest of the machine, Jim.
So where's the emergency? Greetings, I am James T. Kirk of the USS Enterprise. What can we do for you? All right, I know you're just a projection. So where's the emergency? Greetings, I am
Azra of the Omegan people, an ancient and venerable race which labors to prevent the domination of this world by the forces of darkness. We require you to expunge this place of our mortal enemies.
Captain, the most worthwhile purpose in life is to fight against the forces of darkness. We must help him.
Enemies? This world is so barren that all the life on it is located right here. If you have mortal enemies, we've not seen them. Who are you talking about? Our Prime Directive prohibits us from taking part in wars on one side or the other. It would be seen as intervention. We are willing to negotiate a compromise. You will forgive me if I don't fall for a pretty face. I'm not about to expunge anyone. And I will take no action until I've heard both sides of the story. Enemies? Our Prime Directive prohibits...
You imperil your soul by conversing with the enemy, that sugar-tongued Vizsla. I cannot protect you, but I do not imagine I can dissuade you either. Go, do what you must. I do not have that much time, but will be here if you seek to comply with my request.
Okay. Whoa.
I welcome you, otherworlders. I beseech you, save us from that which seeks our destruction.
How fitting for a devil to appear on a world that looks like hell.
Enough of that, Mr. Johns. This is just another xenobiological entity.
Correction, Doctor. This is a projection of a xenobiological entity.
Jim, the only life form readings are within that machine behind the portal. Single-cell organisms with an extremely high reproductive rate, but a very poor metabolism and an extremely short lifespan.
Alright, let's do our normal rigmarole.
Nothing unusual about that object, Captain. Nothing unusual about that object, Captain. Energy levels behind this glass are more than sufficient for having powered the distress signal we received. There is power going into these circuits, Captain, making it capable of functioning.
Greetings, I am James T. Kirk of the USS Enterprise. What can we do for you? So, when do the wicked witches and goblins show up?
Oh, God.
Your emergency beacon and statement lead me to believe you see more of an emergency than exists here. Greetings, I am James T. Kirk of the...
I am Vizsla of the Alphen people. Our race possessed this world and thrived here until the invasion by the forces of light. We are locked in a death struggle with them, for they desire our destruction. Do you aid them?
No, we do not aid them. Wars and destruction are not things we value, Vizsla. Our Prime Directive prevents us from interfering in internal struggles. But at the request of all parties, we might negotiate a compromise. Forgive me, but I find that claim insupportable. This world, while grim, hardly looks like a battleground. Who is trying to destroy it? Wars and destruction.
You open yourself to confusion in speaking with Azra, but it is understandable that you want to hear his side before acting. My assessment of you suggests that most of you will fight the clouding of logic and will see through Azra's deception. Please report to me your success.
Why wait? We've already talked to Azra.
It surprises me that you managed to survive listening to his warped theology. Yours must be a patient life form.
Frankly, Vizsla, Azra is certainly committed to his cause, but hardly the blood-mad fanatic you describe him to be. Warped theology. It is true they differ greatly from you, but your worldviews are based on common beliefs. You see things from different perspectives, that's all. Frankly, Visner, Azra is certainly committed to his cause, but hardly the blood-mad fanatic you just warped theology.
Are you utterly ungrounded in logic? They are creatures of superstition. They invaded our world, then sought to drive us from it. How can you suggest we are anything alike?
You question my grounding in logic, but you don't apply logic to an examination of Alphan beliefs. Aren't they concerned with the same things you are? You're supposed to be the reasonable one. Your facts can't be very persuasive if you aren't willing to try and find common ground. You said they usurped your place in the world, which suggests prior ownership by you. What evidence do you have to support that concept? You question my grounding in logic, but you don't apply logic to an examination of Alphan beliefs. Aren't they concerned with the same things you are? You're supposed to be the reasonable one. Your facts can't be very persuasive if you aren't willing to try and find common. You question my grounding in logic, but you don't apply logic to an examination of Alphan beliefs. You said they usurped your place in the world, which suggests prior ownership by you. What evidence do you have to support that concept? You question my grounding in logic. You're supposed to be the reasonable one. You question...
How can their concerns match ours when they reach conclusions based on superstition in a document which is largely allegorical in content?
Logic, when applied to your arguments and theirs, suggests that you have had the same experience. The two of you are united in a common drive to attain an end. Your mutual distrust reflects a fear of facing your destiny. Realizing your full potential will not be without risk, of course, but it is possible. Meet us, meet the Omegans halfway, and we will help you fulfill your destiny.
Not a bad psychoanalysis, Jim. Freud would be proud.
Captain, you may be ignoring the obvious.
Your position is unassailable and points out the one and only purpose for our races. Thank you, Captain Kirk, for making me see that. Yes, I desire your help for my people. Help us.
Ooh. Guess we got the vending
You
machine.
take the alpha sample, which feels cold to the touch.
Boy, these alphans are healthy little beggars. They're multiplying at a phenomenal rate.
What's up here?
The computer is functional, but I detect no connection between the keyboard and the machine itself. Apparently, it was designed this way. Nothing unusual about that object, Captain.
I'm just a simple country doctor,
Okay.
not...
There you go. Thanks, Bones. All right. Okay. Where are we?
Energy levels behind this glass are more than sufficient for having powered the distress signal we received.
So you're saying to restart where's our doodah? So you're saying that you can restart.
I will now reactivate Azron.
Oh, okay. Good job, Spock. So you're saying, okay, keep your ship, but start back at the very beginning. Okay, so you're saying that you, like, will I keep all my money and all my ship stuff, and then I'll just be back in the Troy system at the very beginning? Because, I mean, and then I would just have to redo the missions, right? Like, from the very beginning all the way, which, honestly, those missions wouldn't be very hard. In the Centurion anyway, so I probably could just blow through those missions back up to this point, or back up to the point that I'm at now.
Whoa, my hand went right through it. It's a projection.
Whoa, thanks. Okay, you can reset everything but my ship.
Was it not as I said it would be? Are not the Alphans unfeeling, uncaring beings, unworthy of life? Did they tell you their lies?
Foul lies? Their position contradicts yours, but there are similarities. You dwell on your differences so much, you just can't see them.
I would say go for it. I mean, it'll be much easier for me to... I mean, if I have my current ship and money, it would be much easier for me to just, you know, go through the... I would much rather just go through the missions again and keep, because I don't want to have to save up money again and get another Centurion and everything. So, I mean, yeah, if you just want to reset the missions, then I will, then I'll just blow through the story missions again. I'll just, you know, either I'll do it off stream or I'll do it on stream and just not upload it to YouTube. Okay.
Frankly, Azra Visner is quite rational and makes your impassioned pleas for genocide sound psychotic.
Oh.
For a being of goodness, you're rather bloodthirsty. Maybe you should try practicing what you preach. Foul lies? Their position contradicts yours, but there are similarities. You dwell on your differences so much, you just can't see them.
Captain, they're as different as angels and demons.
Similarities? They are beings of shadow. They mock our perfection. They are our antithesis, created after we were to destroy us and our potential for good.
You repeatedly proclaim yourself good and suggest you are morally superior to the Alphans. Why don't you act like it? If you're so perfect, how come you need our help? You said they were created after you were. How do you know that? You repeatedly proclaim yourself good and suggest you are morally superior to the Alphans. Why don't you act like it? If you're so perfect, how come you need our help? You said they were created after you were. How do you know that?
We know we came first because that is what our sacred scriptures tell us.
Oh, sacred scriptures.
In the light we were born and commanded to shun that which dwells in darkness. This clearly tells us that we came first. Surely you can see that. Or is it that you have some other interpretation of the event that birthed the Omegans?
Does your sacred scriptures explicitly say that no beings were created before you?
Dare you suggest they came first?
Let's see what we've got. Two single-celled organisms, each incapable of survival on their own. One lives in light, the other lives in darkness. Each must live a limited and unstable life without the other.
Captain, do you know what you're doing?
Allow us to unite you again. Your
Dude,
combined
John's about to
strength
get
will make you a
tasered.
viable entity
I'm about to
again.
kill him.
The persuasiveness of your arguments has opened for me a door through which I spy a future and a truth that I have long denied. You are correct. Perhaps being only half of a whole, I could not see the solution. Yes, I desire your help for my people. Help us.
The sample dish feels warm to the touch.
Do you really expect me to analyze this, Jim?
Sure. I just wanted to hear what you had to say about it.
Nothing unusual about that object, Captain.
Okay. Alright, well, I'm pretty sure this has something to do with... this stuff in
If
here.
not for a thin covering of red dust, you would assume this DNA replicator had just been unboxed and set up. If not for a thin covering of red... Aside from minor differences in styling, this looks remarkably like a Tellarite 8000 DNA sequencer.
Oh, our geneticist boy is getting in on the action now.
I don't know why, but I could not get a good sampling. I don't know why, but I could not get a good sampling.
Does one have to go before the other?
This sample sequence is like a dream.
No, I don't think that's necessary.
Oh, we can't just mix them together?
I don't know why, but I could not get a good sampling.
Why does the music change?
No, I don't think that's necessary. Ensign, let Dr. McCoy try that troublesome sequence.
I can do the job, sir, if I can have some peace and quiet here.
Mr.
Ooh.
Johns, I think I'm getting a clear picture here of your difficulties. Do you realize that insubordination is an offense punishable by a court-martial? It looks to me that you're deliberately trying to mislead us. That's not a good career move. Calm down, Ensign. No one is criticizing you. I just need answers. Mr. Johns, I think I'm getting a clear picture. Calm down, Ensign. No.
I appreciate the offer, Captain, but I know what's right and wrong here, so I don't need your help.
Ensign, I appreciate your situation, but this is not the time for philosophy. You have a job to do. Ensign, you are here as a genetic engineer, not as a philosopher. I expect my orders to be obeyed, and if you have a problem with them, I don't expect to be deliberately misled. I could really use a Tellarite security officer right now.
Tellarite
Ensign,
security.
you are here.
I regret my attempt to mislead you. I will accept whatever punishment you feel is necessary.
What is it you think I'm asking you to do, Ensign?
You don't understand, Captain. Look at the Alphans and look at the Omegans. There's so much evil in the universe. You're asking me to destroy a race of good and beauty by mixing their genetics with something ugly, something evil. I can't do it.
Ensign, I think you're confusing things. The Alphans and Omegans are single-celled creatures. While the projections may have seemed sophisticated and human, they are constructs. You can look at the sequence and tell what you have there for DNA could never produce such a creature, can't you? I am asking you to do nothing of the kind, Ensign. You believe in the struggle of good against evil, and I respect that. But the application of your philosophical perspective is misplaced here. The Alphans and Omegans are single-celled creatures. They are no more capable of good or evil than a tribble. Can't you see that?
I mean, depends on if you
Look,
have
mister,
to...
even if the projections should be taken at face value, both sides have agreed to this. McCoy says they're only single-celled organisms, and you're smart enough to know if he's right or wrong. Use your instruments, be a geneticist, and then make a decision. I am asking you to do nothing of the kind, Ensign. You believe in the struggle of good against evil, and I respect that. But the application of your philosophical perspective is misplaced here. The Alphans and Omegans are single-celled creatures. They are no more capable of good or evil than...
Single cells. You're right. I've been a real idiot. I suppose I should take a refresher course in Aesop.
It wouldn't hurt. Some of the wisest people in history have written for children.
Never judge an input card by its label. I guess that was the trap I fell into and kept me from doing my job and made me deceive my captain.
If it's any consolation, you're not very good at deception, Ensign.
Thank you, sir. I hope you'll give me a chance to correct my mistakes. Do you think we're really meant to combine the two races?
You've programmed the sequences. You can tell whether they're compatible.
Sir, the sequencer indicates that they need to be combined for their continual survival. But how did you know?
I listened to Dr. McCoy. It seemed the logical conclusion, given the evidence.
Thank you, Captain.
The Alpha sample is sequenced, sir.
That's not... That's the Omegan.
No, I don't think that's necessary.
This sample sequence is like a dream.
Okay. Are we...
The two samples have joined together as easily as if they had once been a whole and had been separated before.
Any race that had this technology 50,000 years ago could possibly have been able to perform such a dissection and kept both halves alive.
Captain, with the samples sequenced together, I'm ready to use the replicator to produce a sample with the combined genetic data.
Do I use this one?
I am producing a new culture, Captain. Captain, the genetic sequence is still stored in the computer. If we need another sample, the replicator can generate it. I like it. It has a happy, healthy green glow. I officially christen this life form the Gammons.
And it's green, so it's Hulk. Gammons. Boy.
Well, Jim, it doesn't look like it does anything. Oh, I guess I spoke too soon. It took it in. It looks as if the colony is getting a foothold in there.
Life energy levels are spiking. They're building to a level sufficient for sending out a signal 100 times stronger than the one that brought us here, Captain.
The Gammon sample appears to be thriving in this environment.
Thank you for your hard work. You have fulfilled the design for which we were created. I am authorized to tell you. Thank you for your hard work. You have fulfilled the design for which we were created. I am authorized to tell you.
It would appear there is more to this message than we are receiving.
Kirk to Uhura, are you receiving any strange subspace or radio signals?
Captain, there is a neutrino-based transmission being broadcast near your current position from a point of unknown origin, probably from another star system. Our equipment is not designed to handle it. Though given 1 or 2 weeks, we might be able to identify patterns and extrapolate what it's trying to say.
We'll work on the problem from here. Kirk out.
There's nowhere else really to go. Oh, hello.
An antenna. I wonder what it was meant for.
That's what we're here to find out, Mr. Johns.
The array appears to have deployed recently, which explains its lack of damage. The focal point of the dish is aligned approximately 35 degrees above the horizon. This appears to be similar to Federation technology, Captain. Its control principles are similar to the Madai sensor dish on Vulcan. It has locked the array at a 35-degree angle. Without knowledge of the code control sequence, I cannot adjust it. I also detect that its power core is not functioning. It operates on geothermal energy, tapping into heat from the ground below.
So, what?
The array appears to have deployed recently, which explains...
Alright, well, Spock, figure it out.
Captain, until power has been returned to these controls, there is nothing I can do. The array dish appears to have escaped much of the damage visited upon the rocks. Nothing unusual. Aside from this sensor array, there is nothing unexpected.
You know, Jim, this is not the kind of place to inspire homesickness.
I hope they didn't pay the landscapers very many credits for this work.
Credits?
Unlike the rocks surrounding it, the sensor array dish looks fairly new. The control mechanism for the array.
Spock, see what you can do with this.
Captain, until power has been returned to these controls, there is nothing I can do.
I believe Mr. Johns is in the wrong Star franchise. Why? I remember what he said.
I hope they didn't pay the landscapers very many credits for this work.
Yeah, credits. Yeah, you're right. Things are okay. I just found out that my game of Wing Commander Privateer apparently is... I failed a mission and I accidentally saved, like after I accepted the mission, and then I left to go do something else. So, yeah, I'm either going to have to restart the whole game, or actually Captain Herlock here in the chat is looking into possibly resetting, like using like a code to reset my game. Well, reset the missions in my game so that all I have to do is do the missions over again. I don't lose everything else, which is fine. I can do that. It won't take me very long to get through a lot of the missions that I remember, especially with the ship that I have currently. But yeah, so while he's working on that, I decided to jump over here to Star Trek Judgment Rites. Okay, so...
I really don't think this is the sort of place that would be suited to resort traffic. These rocks would strip the hide off a Horta.
What?
The array appears to have deployed recently, which explains its lack of damage. The support beneath the base is weak and crumbled. It is aligned to a point approximately 35 degrees above the horizon. Captain, the controls indicate the device is aligned at an angle approximately 35 degrees above the horizon. There appears to be some sort of anomaly in the control program that has misaligned the controls, but my tricorder is unable to determine it. Without a method of determining the proper angle, I am afraid I cannot realign the dish.
In sharp contrast to the surrounding stones, the array glitters unblemished by the surroundings. The control mechanism for the array.
These rocks are approximately 1.3 billion years old. The array is a precision instrument that shows a high degree of machining.
Okay.
Captain, these controls do not seem to be functioning properly.
Anything else? Another one. Looks like a dead end now, though.
The array appears to have deployed recently, which explains its lack of damage. This array appears focused on a point approximately 35 degrees above the horizon. This appears to be similar to Federation technology, Captain. Its control principles are similar to the Madai Center.
Okay, so we've already done that.
Captain, until power has been returned to these controls, there is nothing I can do. The array dish is quite sturdy and doubtless still functional. On this bit of rock, I get a 3.5 on the Mohs hardness scale. Fascinating.
Spock, why does everything you say always come out sounding like a personal log entry?
That's what she said. Personal log entry. Yeah.
This array is clear evidence of an ongoing alien interest in this world.
They said they run on geothermal.
Captain, although this rock formation does indirectly lead to the thermal core, I suggest finding an area that would allow a more direct transfer of energy. These rocks are approximately 1.3 billion years old and are volcanic in origin. Captain, although this rock formation does indirectly lead to the thermal core, I suggest finding it. This appears to be the most accessible spot to heat the rocks below the ground and generate geothermal energy for the array. The energy level is insufficient, Captain. We cannot generate the energy level needed to provide geothermal energy with hand phasers.
If it's thermal energy you want, Jim, I remember this planet that used a starship's phasers on a microwave setting to heat the surrounding rock to provide temporary power.
An interesting observation, Doctor. We could use the same technique here, but the beam would have to be extremely precise. If we targeted the wrong section, we could melt the rock and destroy the array.
Okay.
Kirk to Enterprise. Sulu, can you read me?
Sulu here, Captain. How can I help you?
The Enterprise should broadcast a low-level microwave beam at the coordinates I am sending.
We have them, Mr. Spock. Get ready. Stand away from the blast area.
Stand by, ready for weapons position.
Ready for weapons position? What does that even mean?
Sending microwaves now.
Ooh, cinematic.
Temperature near the power coupling is rising rapidly. I estimate a below-ground temperature of 345 degrees Kelvin is required to reactivate the array. It is at 320, 330, 335, 340, 345, 350.
Shut off the beam, Mr. Sulu.
Affirmative, Captain.
The array is now drawing power. We were successful.
Yay!
Captain, the parameters of this sensor have been preset. I suggest we do not change them unnecessarily. The array is functioning stably. I estimate our discharge has given it adequate energy to function for 13 days, 7 hours, and 26.8 minutes.
Okay, was there an issue with this one?
Captain, These controls do not seem to be functioning properly. The array is a precision instrument that shows a high...
Okay. Why is it not functioning properly?
I will need to adjust the controls before the sensor array is realigned.
So, do it.
The array appears to have deployed recently, which explains its lack of damage.
Okay, Captain Herlock. I mean, if you just want to email me back the file, which you already did, after I finish this mission, we can jump over and try it out.
I'm surprised at the high degree of engineering evidenced by this array.
Oh.
The array is a precision instrument that shows a high degree of machining. Captain, these controls do not seem to be functioning properly.
Then frickin' move it.
This array is clear evidence of an ongoing alien interest in this world.
Kind of reminds me of a Klingon penal colony, don't you think?
I think I would just as soon avoid the research needed to make that judgment, sir.
No effect. No effect.
Captain, the parameters of this sensor have been preset. I suggest we do not change them unnecessarily. The array dish is quite sturdy and doubtless still functional.
But it says it's malfunctioning. The other one's malfunctioning, so what do we do with this one? Anything? Or do we just go back?
The control mechanism for the array. In sharp contrast to the surrounding stones.
The array is a precision instrument. Captain, these controls do not...
Okay, well, let's go see if we can do this then, though. Okay, so is this gonna work now? Ooh, that don't look good.
Thank you for your hard work. You have fulfilled the design for which we were created. I am authorized to...
Okay. So it doesn't seem like it worked. There's something wrong here. I feel like there's something with that middle thing. I wonder if I have to call the Enterprise. I don't think I did that. Let's try...
Scotty, I need a calculation
there we
from
go.
the main computer.
While I know that computers on the Enterprise aren't quite as good as her engines, I think she'll manage.
I am sending the problem.
Ugh, that was too easy, Mr. Spock. The angle is 32.5 degrees.
Thank you, Mr. Scott.
So is there anything else you need, Captain?
Not now, Scotty. Kirk out.
I am now attempting to realign the device to 32.5 degrees. It should now be correctly aligned.
Bah, bah, bah. Oh, God. Okay. Sorry, I had a text message. Okay, so that's a line now. So is this gonna work now? Yeah, I mean, I could only get level 3 shields and level 3 engines or power upgrade. So I just leave it as is, you know, and so all I have to do is just re-download that save into my thing. Okay, so is this thing gonna work now? Because I think we're at the end of this mission. Oh, it's not glitching anymore.
Thank you, Captain, for your aid in constituting my people and in the unexpected necessary realignment of our communications array. You have performed admirably. Of the 16 stations reporting at this point, there have been 50% fatalities, 30% other failures, and only 20% successes. One group got points for style.
Points for style? Is this some sort of game?
Uh-oh. Kirk ain't playing no games.
Not another alien race with a superiority complex. Who are you this time? Your appreciation is welcome, but many questions remain unanswered. Who are you?
I am Sississa, a projection of a synthesis of Ozra and Vizner. Clearly you know that the primitive life forms you have been dealing with are incapable of creating that in which you now stand. You will also note that the more demonic of the creatures displayed a passivity you did not expect, while the morally pure creature was aggressive and bloodthirsty.
The contradictions were noted and duly dealt with. I take it you were testing us on our ability to deal with disparate and contradictory inputs.
Yes, your reasoning ability was being tested, as well as your ability to adapt to new ideas when they conflict with deeply held beliefs and cultural customs. You passed quite admirably.
Why, thank you.
Brassica were impressed.
I'm not clear on who the Brassica are.
Captain, from this site, I can deduce various things about the Brassica. They are taller and more slender than we are. They are possessed of 3 fingers and a thumb on each hand. I suppose bilateral symmetry, and I know they possess greater visual acuity than humans. They visited this place well before humans had left the Cro-Magnon stage of development. And I note they have avoided detection by us, and presumably every other race in the universe, before they decided to send out signals to bring us to their bases.
Thank you, Mr. Spock.
And more you shall know as you continue on the quest. I wish you luck.
Kirk to Enterprise. Scotty, 4 to beam up.
Hey, we all live.
Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end.
In this case, Bones, a new beginning. We were the midwives for the rebirth of a life form. 2 halves that have been made whole again. That's the way it was meant to be.
And let us hope that this is the end of Ensign John's prejudices.
We can all learn to stop judging people by appearances. Ensign Johns might have done well to remember the biblical representation of Lucifer.
That's true. We did not have a red shirt with
an
us.
angel of light.
You can never trust anybody, and people who look like pointy-eared hobgoblins are definitely at the bottom of the list.
It appears that Dr. McCoy did not learn the lesson of this mission either. Unfortunate, but not unexpected.
Fortunately, the Alphans and the Omegans learned philosophy and personal belief are not as easily divorced from logic as some would believe. We humans attain our greatest fulfillment when both of them are united.
Really, Captain?
Really? But I've had enough philosophy for one day. I'd rather worry about these Brassica and their cosmic quest.
Well, with me aboard, we're sure to get points for style.
Many questions remain unanswered, Captain.
And there's only one way to answer them.
Captain, message from Starfleet.
Bring it up, Lieutenant.
I have reviewed your report from your recent assignment, Captain, and have a few comments. Well done, Kirk. Keep up the good work. I must say, however, your performance is not what we've come to expect from James T. Kirk. I guess we all have our off days, Captain. Kane out.
Ahead, Mr. Sulu. Warp factor 5.
Leaving orbit.
What did I do wrong?
Factor 5.
I thought it went pretty well, actually.